Hello, friends and family and everyone alike. I think it's time for me to go live again because it's been long enough and I can't keep my public waiting. So, if everyone can see me or hear me, let me know. And I believe I'm zoomed in radically. So let me zoom out, and we're already off to a great start. So, hi, everybody. I'm Phil from One Wall Studio. I'm coming to you live from my basement, as always, in my cute little studio. And today, we're doing a song called Deny Control by Dark Ride. I know I said it, I saved it as Dark Side up there in my project file, but it's actually Dark Ride. Dark Ride's the band, and I want to give a special thanks to them for putting pretty much everything they ever do on Cambridge Multitrack Library. It's a really big deal for me because I think it's one of the best libraries you can get for free, filled with tons of resources for not only learning how to mix, and I think at this point even learning how to master, but they have a great selection of music to choose from, hundreds of tracks. They're doing a really good thing by making it all publicly available, and I'm going to walk through these today, see what I can get in the next maybe hour or so, or however long it takes. I just want to make it punch hard, I want to make it as brutal as possible, and I want to get the balances right. The person who actually does their mixing, as far as I know, or at least their production, he is on the Cambridge Multitrack forum, and he pretty much comments and responds to any mix that's posted there. So if you want to get this and actually get really good constructive feedback and critique, definitely post it because you're guaranteed to with this song at least. So I'm going to dive right in. I already did some bussing just because I didn't want to bore you guys with track management. I know that that's not the most popular topic in mixing, but here we go. Let's dive right into it. This song is Deny Control. So let's get a feel for it. Ooh. Shut up, Windows. Okay. Alright, nice. We're getting somewhere. Yo! A Dark Ride song with screaming. Alright, so this song already sounds pretty boss, not gonna lie. The only thing I want to do is I do want to start with the drums. Huh. You know, they're not perfectly on time. They've got more of like a kind of a tighter early Cryptopsy vibe to them. But hey, whatever works. Alright, so let's align some timing. Let me make sure that the samples are... Okay, so good. The samples are perfectly out of alignment. Oh, yeah. So automatically, just flipping the phase on this kick sample helps immeasurably. Oh, yeah, there's all that thickums back. Alright, now snare. Time to see if the snare samples line up. Gotta do that thing again. Bum bum bum. Okay, so it looks like they do align. Or at least more so than the kick did with the kick sample. So it should be good. Alright, so those are sounding pretty good. However, I notice that this has more of a bottom crack and this one has more of a natural top feel. So I'm going to blend in a little bit more sample here. Now you guys are going to have to forgive me because I'm going to be choosing a sample. And I might walk you through how I choose my samples, actually. So, what I want, beyond a shadow of a doubt, is a combination of these two. I want them both to be going max volume so that I get a good blend. So there's ghost notes there. That's pretty cool. Now, you really can't go wrong by making these as sticky as possible, with as little sustain and low end as possible, just so you get the smack. Bring it in like that. So that I get the ghost notes there. It's not getting all the ghost notes. Yeah, that's what I thought. Let's keep going at it. Let's make it as just high-end as possible to trigger these samples from, because they're already samples. I want to make sure these ghost notes come out beautifully. Okay. I really want to make this work. There we go. That should be more functional now. Cool. So, with that in mind, I'm going to blend a couple of different samples. I'm going to start auditioning them. So first, I want to blend in a sample that has a little bit more beef. This Vinnie Paul one sounds good. Give it a little bit of bottom. Maybe a tiny bit of overhead. I'm going to be blending that seamlessly, I hope. So then I'm going to do a drum shots from JST. Hashtag not sponsored, but boy, that would be fun. Alright, so snare. Yeah. Some of these are dope. Hey Dave, what's up? I like that, and maybe just one more for the fun of it. Yeah. So I'm gonna have a little bit more of a spacious vibe with these particular drum shots. Yeah. Just a little bit of each of these. Nice. Alright, I think that's a good blend, so I'm just going to render these to stereo tracks. I love choosing drum samples. Something fun about just layering all these snare sounds and then making sure that they're all in phase after the fact, blending it with the original. Thank you very much for the compliments. I appreciate it. But, this is going to sound so dope, so tight. And I'm going to blend it in just with the original snare sounds, just so that we get that full punchy snare sound that I'm not famous for yet, but boy, would I love to be. And I'm probably going to keep the kicks the same because I think the kicks are strong as is. The only real concern that I have is just making sure that the kicks are strong, but not too strong during active double bass sections. That's the important part. Alright, so I'm going to check the phase on these boys. Okay. So I believe... looking pretty good. Middle, up, down, down. They look pretty aligned to me, but I'm going to do this real quick mono trick to make it mono left. Alright, left side seems to line up well. Mono right. Right side seems to line up well. So I think we're pretty well in phase with the original tracks here. So let's hear what a blend of all of these sound like real quick. Alright, nice. So I like a little bit more of a toppy snare, something a little bit less low heavy, like bottom heavy, with just a little bit of ambiance to make it crash. So now that I've prepped my snare sound, let's hear that kick sound. Nice. So I guess kick 2 is a second foot, huh? Already, I think the snare sounds a lot cleaner, a lot nicer. Now, my main issue here is just that these overheads are way too low volume. I like a lot more overhead sound, and then I like to mangle them a bit. So let me get these overheads up to a reasonable level for my mixing purposes. Boom, boom, boom. I also really like dark cymbals. Let's see. Alright, I don't want them to be too overpowering. I want them to be a little bit more controlled in the high end. Okay. Pretty solid overhead sound. Let's hear how it blends with the drums. Nice. Let's get to work on this kick, shall we? I like that low end. It's a strong low end. Yeah, there's where that fundamental's at. A little bit more of that boom. Got a little bit of that 250 area right there where it's kind of thuggy. All right. As far as EQ goes, I feel like that's pretty much it. Gotta do that multi-transient thing. Multi-transient V2 from Audio Assault has saved my life on everything I've ever done. A lot more kick attack. A little bit less sustain. Clean it up. I like a kick with a lot of attack in the high end and not a ton of sustain, because it makes it feel like more impactful. helps it to kind of breathe in a way, where it smacks and then comes out. That's kind of my ideal kick sound. I might leave the high end sustain up a little bit. Alright. Now I'm going to do some of this here. I'm going to put a slow attack on it. And then a slower release on it. Just in this one area. So that when the kick gets fast, it kind of does that. So that it doesn't become egregious. It still has the attack, but it gradually kind of chips away at that awkwardness in the low end when it gets really fast double bass, because I don't want it to overpower the rest of the mix. This is also just going to level it out a little bit. And also kind of important, now that I've got all that stuff going, I'm just going to cut a little bit of this because this is kind of a fatiguing frequency. I want it to have punch, I don't want it to sound plastic. You know? Right? Now I am going to break out a clipper for that kick shell. Yeah. Just smacking that kick. I want it to punch. There we go. That's some good drum sound right there. I love that kick. I'm going to lower it a little bit in the mix. While I'm here, I'm going to tackle the spots just because they're kind of egregious. Right. Spots really shouldn't be taking up much in this low end. And they shouldn't be too bright. My primary concern is just that they're going to step over the overheads a little bit, and I kind of want them to match them. I just want them to fill in air, that's all. But I want them to vibe with the same... When the overheads do that, I want the spots to do it too. So that they compress and sync. Just makes it a little bit more musical, in my opinion. Oh, and by the way, that hi-hat, yeah, just like I thought, so the hi-hat's on the left in the stereo field, so I'm going to push it. There we go. Nice. Sounding good. Now to make this snare sound larger than life. Oh, that might be a little too large for life. Yeah, it's a little fatiguey. Alright, so when you make a snare sound freaking huge and larger than life, part of that is doing a whole bunch of little things sometimes. So for example, I'm going to increase the attack and sustain of the low end here. Massive attack on the mid-range here, but not a lot of sustain in the low mids. Where are my low mids at? Like, generally right there-ish. Top end, high mids, a lot of attack, a lot of sustain. Treble, ton of attack, not as much sustain. Yeah. And then overall attack and sustain. I'm just going to boost a little bit so that the overall wideband is more. Yeah. Right. Nice. I feel like I could even scoop that out a little bit more. And maybe even boost the high end a little bit. Then low pass it, maybe? Yeah. Nice, we're really smacking now. So I'm gonna do a little bit less compression on this boy. Just a tiny bit. Like literally just moving the needle a tiny bit. And then I'm gonna just clip it. Bring it up ever so slightly. A little bit more scoopy. And a little bit more low end. I don't care how mangled a snare has to get to sound good. I want to mangle it and bring it up and make people think, whoa, that punches. That's the goal for me. Because nobody's going to hear the snare out of context. They're going to hear it in context of the drums and the rooms. I want that to smack, you know? Alright, Tom time. Let's hear these toms in all their glory. What if I just... You know what? I actually kind of like that. Let's pan out these toms real hard, because this is metal. If you ain't hard panning toms in metal, you don't know what you're doing. Just kidding. There's some guys who don't, and I respect that. Andy Wallace, I love you. Alright. Transient. Yeah, that's right. Now for punchy, short sustaining toms, this is what you want to do. You want to increase the attack at the base so that it really punches, and then you want to have the sustain on the low mids ring out more, so that it sounds more natural. Yeah, like that. And you're not eating up too much headroom when you do that. And then high mids, treble, all that stuff, you want to have a reasonable amount of attack. But you want to increase the sustain on the treble so that it's got more of like a airy feel. And that's if you want toms that sound kind of like a punchy, rolly cannons, so to speak. Now, a lot of modern metal mixers will actually do a lot more, a lot louder toms, and I respect that. They can do loud toms if they want. I'm going to try and do that in this mix, because it might work. People love loud toms these days. I'm for it. Aw, yeah. Let's get this comp on here real nice. Make that snare smack. Throw a limiter on it. Crush them drums, boy. And for those who are wondering, I am going to throw Soothe on it, just because I feel like that's probably going to make it sound good. Just a tiny bit over there in that 4K area. Because again, I want it to sound natural, but not too 4K. Yeah, there we go. So I'm just going to bring that down a little bit, and then I'm going to mix based on those drum levels. And what happens, happens. Just going to cut a little bit of 400 hertz here, because I hear a resonance. Yeah. There we go. Nice. These spots might even be a little bit warm. No, not the spots. The overheads. Yeah. A lot cleaner now. Alright, drum rooms time. I love drum rooms because there's so much potential here. Let me bring up those levels. It's kind of like a close ambiance. Is that just a snare room? Just a kick room? Mono room. How strange. I feel like I need... do I, though? I don't know if I actually need anything beyond these. Yeah, I think it should be fine. So what I'm gonna do is just take a little bit of this, crush it a little, because I really want it to... I'm gonna drive it. There we go. It's okay to scoop, it's metal. Kinda gnarly drum rooms. Scoop more, boys. Always scoop more. Maybe not that much. I do like a natural room. I'm just gonna bring this down a bit. Yeah. Just enough to make it sound right. Okay, so this is the regular bass. I can respect that. You know, it already sounds really good. Where's my snare at? Like 203. 200. Nice. Don't want that to get in the way. I'm gonna clean up some of that higher end, because I'd rather it have it here than... I'd rather have it here than interrupting the cymbals. Now, I am going to do this. I'm going to use Track Spacer by Waves Factory. And I'm just going to send it... directly in the kick. Let me get rid of track spacer real quick. Make this on channel 3-4. All right. Cool. So that's just going to clean up that low end and duck it whenever the kick hits in the areas between, like, 0 to 91 hertz. Which I'm okay with. Then, actually, instead of using finality, I'm actually just going to clip it. Because what could possibly go wrong? Everybody loves clipped bass. Yeah. Now that's angry. Some chonk. Maybe just a little bit less of this. And fun thing about this song in particular is that there is a bass solo. So what I'm gonna do is treat this like so. So this is going to be some creative automation here for a second. I'm going to bypass the send from the kick for just that section, and I'm going to enable the lead bass, so to speak, and I'm going to adjust the low cut and high cut from track spacer. And here's what's going to happen. Kick. Just until that happens. Alright, and then I'm going to adjust this from low cut being that to low cut presumably being up to like there. And then this high cut being say here. So that way it maintains the low end and the lead bass just steps in that mid-high. Alright, so then once you do that, it should open up all that mid-range. which then comes back after that bass solo ends. Yeah. Yeah. And I think I'm gonna up this fat boy here. Cut just a little bit of this. I love that. So now that entire EQ curve is going to affect track spacer as I continue to do this. And I feel like pushing this into a limiter to make it fatter is definitely going to help with that bass tone, getting it more crunchy and in your face. Meanwhile, this stays nice and fat in the low end. Oh yeah. So I'm thinking that's sounding pretty cool. Although, I do want to do some parallel compression on the drums. Because I want it to be greener. And here's what I mean. Alright, so let's choose any random EQ. Let's say a API 550A. So let's choose this 550A. Get some of this kick, snare, and tom action going on. Make a post pre-fader so I can get all that tommy goodness. I'm gonna bring the kick down a little bit in here so that it doesn't overwhelm the snare when the snare hits. I want the snare to be the priority here because it is a really good snare. And let's scoop, and let's boost. All right, let's make this a floor. Let's make that a floor, and that means real clacky. Yeah. All right, now let's crush it. I'm going to use JST clip again. Easy. And I'm going to use a limiter right before that. So this is the parallel bus. I'm going to bring down the kick a little bit more. Bring up the snare more. Alright. Alright, now rhythm guitar time. I want to lean into what makes these rhythm guitars fun. But I also want to make room for the snare, so I'm going to do a couple things here. For one, I'm going to really push them into some tape. Now this is going to be the old Slayer trick. Scoop and then drive into tape. There we go. That 3.9K was just killing me a little bit. I don't want it to be too scoopy, but I do want it to have just a little bit more control. That's the difference, that's the delta. Alright, nice. Yeah. The other thing I want to do is throw on an instance of track spacer here so that I can get some that snare doing what I want it to. Just a little bit. I also want to put some soothe on it, just so that it doesn't get too gnarly. But I still want it to have that punchy feel, you know? So I'm going to do this, and just catch the stuff I missed. Yeah, there we go. Just stepping out of the way a little bit when that snare hits in the low range. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna limit the heck out of this boy. Push it even harder. Yeah, that's some guitar. I want it to feel like it's getting hit. Oh, yeah. Now there's some good interplay between all the instruments so far. Ah, yes, the feedback boy. Feedback man. Let me... I do want this to feel wide. Like... Yeah, there we go. Like that kind of thing. I also want to cut that 2K so that it feels a little further away. So that there's more of a contrast between the impact of what happens next and it. Come now. There we go. There we go. Oh, yeah. I want those guitars to be nice and bright. While I'm here, guitar solo. Nice. Gonna do that. I'm just gonna filter it till I like how it sounds. There we go. I'm gonna do a similar kind of delay, but not as extreme. That way it's copacetic with the other part. Alright, it does need to be up front. Oh yeah. That little bit of ambiance helped a lot. That is a little bit louder than I'd usually mix a guitar solo, but I think it sounds good. I feel like this dive bomb's not supposed to be too loud. I feel like it's just supposed to be atmospheric. So I am going to bring it down a little bit. Give it a little bit of spring reverb. Just to keep it out of the main. Alright. I think we're up to the point of Matt doing this vocal boy. It's a vocal that sounds like a guitar. Alright, I'm going to treat it like the guitar then, so that it has the same feel as the lead. Why not? Nice. All right. On to the next part. I want to get these screams sounding brutal. So I've decided I think I'm going to widen these just a little bit, the doubles. Just to give it like a super wide feel and bring them down just a little bit behind the doubles. Right. I'm gonna EQ that just a little bit more. And I do want to give it a little bit of distortion. Let's get this up. I'm gonna blend it in, just so it feels more natural. Cool. Right. A little bit less distortion. Just enough to blend in slightly. And I do want to use this de-esser should work wonders. Just enough to make it less spitty. I do want to have the verb there just to make it a little less obvious when it stops. Just a real short verb. Give it some EQ. Alright, very dry scream with a little bit of verb. Okay, I quite like these vocals. I just want to...
Don't underestimate my will, 'cause I
Let me get a little bit of that LA two-way boy on
don't
there.
underestimate
out a little.
my will,
Bring it
'cause
up.
I will never resign. Don't try to understand myself. Don't try to seize me down today, 'cause I will always withstand. Don't try to fool a broken man. Don't try to understand myself. Don't try to seize me down today, 'cause I will always withstand.
These are very dynamic.
Try to fool a broken man. Don't underestimate my will, 'cause I will never resign. Don't try to understand myself. Don't try to seize me down today, 'cause I will always withstand. Don't try to fool a broken man.
I just feel like
Don't underestimate my will, 'cause I will never resign. Don't try to understand myself. Don't underestimate my will, 'cause I will never resign. Don't try to understand myself. Don't underestimate my will, 'cause I will never resign. Don't try to understand myself.
I do want to boost this
Don't
overall.
underestimate my will, 'cause I will never resign. Don't try to understand myself. Don't underestimate my will, 'cause I will never resign. Don't try to understand myself. Don't underestimate my will, 'cause I will never resign. Don't try to understand myself.
Right.
Don't underestimate my will, 'cause I will never resign. Don't try to understand myself. Don't underestimate my will, 'cause I will never
A little bit of de-essing with Nova.
Don't try to understand myself. Don't underestimate my will, 'cause I will never resign. Don't try to understand myself. Don't underestimate my will, 'cause I will never resign. Don't try to understand myself. Don't try to seize me down today, 'cause I will. Don't underestimate my will, 'cause I will never resign. Don't try.
I just want a little bit of verb. Same deal here as I do on the screams, but I'm probably going to adjust the EQ a little bit differently. So let's see what happens here.
'Cause I will always withstand. Don't try to fool a broken man.
Just a little bit too much there.
Underestimate my will, 'cause I will never resign. Don't try to understand myself. Don't underestimate my will, 'cause I will never resign. Don't try to understand myself.
Nice. I feel like it was a little bit lower there. A little bit lower. Yeah.
Don't try to understand myself.
Sweet, so background vocals time.
Underestimate my will. 'Cause I will never resign. Don't try to understand my sins. Don't try to seize me down today. 'Cause I will always withstand
Yeah.
the broken man. Underestimate.
I gotta get around this area and cut because
Don't try to
that way it doesn't take up the same space as the main vocal. So I carve out a little bit of that mid-range in the background vocals, and it makes it fit better.
'Cause I will always withstand the
Right.
broken man. Underestimate my will. 'Cause I will never resign. Don't try to understand my sins. Don't try to seize me down today. 'Cause I will always withstand.
Okay.
Underestimate my will.
It's getting there, background-wise.
Don't try to understand my sins. No way. Don't try to seize me down today. 'Cause I will always withstand.
Yeah.
Don't try to fool a broken man.
I do feel like maybe Nova would work on just taming some of that.
Feeling the pain of the spell that I'm under. Turning myself to the man that I want to. No way. No way. No way. Don't try. No way. Don't.
It does get pretty 1.5K heavy and like 1.2K, so I'm just gonna widen this up and make it a little bit more.
Don't try to seize me down today. 'Cause I will always withstand. Don't try to fool a broken man.
Okay, yeah. Oh, hey, thank you, NECA Imperfect. I'm just doing a mix of this song. Much appreciated. Alright, what else we got in terms of backgrounds?
I'm here. Yes, I'm back. Don't try to. Yes, I'm back.
I think I'm gonna leave this one as is. Just gonna EQ it with the same as the, Yeah, okay. It's a lead guitar now.
Yes, I'm back in the ring.
Yo!
Yes, I'm back in the ring. Don't try to
Nice.
seize me. Burn on my shoulders.
Oh?
Burn on my. Breaking the chains of your life that I don't want. I wanna be. I wanna be just myself. You want shoulders.
automated the background vocals up a little bit for that one section. Needs more air. Yeah, there we go. Beautiful. I'm also gonna do this so that the delay goes away. I think it's sounding pretty good so far. All that's left are these whisper and speech tracks.
By myself, you can't control what I say.
That's definitely going to be widened and done that. Put that on there. Treat it more like a background vocal.
You won't control what I say.
Yeah, that's creepy. Gotta feel creepy.
You won't control what I say.
Yeah. Nice. Come on, listen. I'm gonna bring up the rhythms a little bit. And the bass. Nice. Gonna bring down that background vocal just a little bit. Some fantastic drumming. Love it. All right. I think
Yes, I'm back.
Just a little bit more of that and I'm happy.
Don't underestimate my will, 'cause I will never resign. Don't try to understand myself. No way. Don't try to seize me down today, 'cause I will always withstand. Don't try to fool a broken man.
There we go. Alright, so I think that sounds pretty good so far. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to render it in all of its glory, and then I'm going to put it in a new session specifically for mastering. So I'm going to render this as TBM, and we're going to see what happens in 2 minutes. Now, I haven't been talking a ton during the stream because I'm actually pretty engrossed in how this song's been coming out. I really like it so far, and I hope that you guys do too, because it's a really cool track. Like, no lie, it is super dope. Now, I don't want you guys to click away just because I'm going to a mastering phase. I do want you guys to see, if you're interested, of course, that I have a couple of tricks up my sleeve for that intro. I fully intend to do some stuff with it on the master bus, because I didn't really mess with it too much here, so that I could have more control with it there, right? So I'm almost done. Stick with me. And, you know, if I was able to post on Facebook right now, I'm banned temporarily. It's just a big misunderstanding over community guidelines. I'm sure there'd be more of you. As per the usual, there are usually more of you when I post this on Facebook. But, anyhow, this is going to be a fun one. So, let's see what I can do to get the most loudness out of it as possible without destroying the track, and having the intro be super fun and interesting and cool and just totally out there, right? I want to give it like a just completely different vibe. So maybe even a little bit of glitching, maybe a little bit of fun stuff going on there, you never know. And then I'm going to automate yeah, I'll automate. I'll do some automation work, and it'll be a lot of fun. And we'll all go home, we'll all be happy. So, this is usually what I do when I go to do a mastering job. I create a new session. Alright, Dark Ride, Deny Control, Mastering. Cool, so I've got that there. I'm going to take the mix that was sent to be mastered, and... Okay, cool, so here we are. First thing I'm going to do is put this in here, and I'm going to do some fun automation work. So, first things first, I'm going to automate this high pass and this low pass, and I'm going to make it work however I want before ultimately bypassing it. Not quite what I'd expected. Alright, so I've got the little EQ boy going there. Next, I'm going to do some of this glitchy boy nonsense. I'm just going to go straight ahead with it and set it to bypass after a certain period of time, which would be this one. Alright, let's test some. Yeah, there we go. Now we throw some flanger on it, just to make it fun and quirky. Not on the whole thing, just on that thing. And for even more fun and enjoyable stuff, I'm actually going to adjust some of these rates and shape stuff as we're going. So I'm going to do delay, depth, and rate at a variable. Yeah. Yeah, all gross and disgusting. Now that's what I'm going for. More emphasis on that drop because I got that automation there on that string. Ba-ba-ba. Nice. So now I'm just going to do a couple of small things that I like because I like them. I'm going to do some saturation from Softtube, just with some tape.
Don't underestimate my will, 'cause I will never resign.
I like it.
Try to understand myself. No way. Don't try to seize me down today, 'cause I will always withstand. Don't try to fool a broken man.
Curious.
Control.
Okay. I'm going to use Soothe here.
Feeling the pain of the spell that I'm under, turning myself to the man that I want to be. I just want to blame myself. You can't control what I say.
So Soothe is getting rid of a lot of that more fatiguing stuff. Before I hit Chef's.
Too long I've been led off astray. Tonight I'm coming back again. Don't try to jab and punch up in here. Yes, I'm black and
gonna throw this on here. This bus compressor. I'm gonna save this de-esser channel for once I've done some matching. So ozone's probably where I'm gonna get a lot of my loudness. You know, because it's gonna be loud. So while ozone loads, I'm going to explain that for you. I'm gonna do an EQ profile with a song that I already have saved just for matching purposes. And I'm probably only gonna use the EQ profiler, the imager, the exciter, and the maximizer. Maybe the dynamic EQ. Or just, you know, the dynamics bands. Depending on how much it needs to get close. I'm gonna image this real quick so that the low end doesn't radically splay. Want to have a consistent. Yeah, there we go. Don't try to chill when thoughts happen here. Yes, I'm black and over. Don't try to seize me down to. Now the question is, what should I use? I'm thinking I could probably try a couple different things. But first, I'm going to see an EQ match with... some of these might be a little too heavy, but... I'm going to see how it sounds compared to some metalcore from right now. Oh, wow. That would scoop it out hard. Alright, what about something more like Attack Attack in terms of reference? Wow. That takes some of the bite out of it. But I kind of like how it feels. That would probably be achieved by using Soothe a little bit more, I'd imagine. Which gives it kind of a big feel. Nice. So then I imagine now with Sheps, I'm probably just going to be able to DS some of that low mid-range. Yeah, like right there. Between 300 and 600. Just a little bit more excitement there. A little bit of tubiness. little bit more of that in that low end. Very low end. I think I do want to do just a little bit of overall multi-band compression stuff here. Just to control the low end a little bit more. Yeah, there we go. Doesn't have to be much more. The key here is just subtlety. I'm not trying to do too much. I'm trying to do like 1 dB per band so that I can even out the spectrum just a little bit. But on the high bands, it makes a lot of a difference when you bring up the overall feeling of it. There we go. Right. Now let's EQ match again. See if our changes have done anything up to this point. Alright, we're getting in the ballpark of that. Cool, so I feel like our matching EQ has just helped us maintain a little bit of perspective. I'm just going to scoop this 100 hertz area a little bit more with EQ. Just raise that 60 hertz area a little bit. Nice. Might be a little much, but maybe a little bit of width there. Okay. Now, just for the sake of the stream, I am going to turn this down just a tiny bit here and focus on getting some loudness. Oh yeah, that punches. Alright, so we got it pretty good. Pretty loud.
Too long I've been led off astray. Tonight I'm coming back again. Don't try to change.
Alright, y'all, I'm gonna render this and send it on over to the forum. I'm gonna upload this tonight. So hopefully I can see you guys over there as well. It's Cambridge MT, which stands for Multitrack Library. And if you want to, please, I commend you. If you can tackle this, it's a totally different style than usual. Usually they have a lot of layers and a lot of crazy stuff going on, but this was only like 30 or so tracks. So if you're looking to get your teeth cut with some dark ride tracks, this is definitely the place to start. Please go for it. I want to hear your guys' mixes, and I want to hear you guys shoot for the stars and catch the moon. So, you know where to find my mix once it's rendered, and I implore you to do the same. I'm Phil from One Wall Studio, and it's official. It's mastered. So, to MP3, but still. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys for coming out, and I appreciate all of you who have watched. Take care.